Get a little drink here. Okay, we're going to be at the Tiv today. Today is the Tiv day. And let's see what we got to. Okay, so we have, I think in my idea, the idea is that when we say the Talmud, then what we're doing is starting to move up the panemius of the Chabad, the Vesiya. Then when we say the next part, which is the Ketoris, we're actually, I think we're moving up. I was trying to really remember this that well. We're moving up the panemius of the Chaga, the Vesiya, and the Chitzonius of the Chabad, the Vesiya, onto the Malchus of Yetzirah, which is this part of a plan, a bigger plan, onto the Malchus of Yetzirah. That is I guess it would be the Chitzonius of the Malchus of Yetzirah, making it a panemius, but anyway, we're moving on, and we're going now to the next bracha, which is Kavanas Pratios, but Tefillas on the Bakoach. So what happens with Ana Bakoach? I forgot. Let's go on. It says, Hine Bakol Yom V'Yom, every day. The Kavan La'alosam Al Yedecha Bakol Chasheva Shemas HaKolula B'Shem Mab. So using the name Mab, we're calling to bring everything up. Bakol Yom B'Eis HaTefillah, B'Amiras Ana Bakoach. Now you get to that part of the davening. Shabo Sheva Shemos Umab Osius. There are 42 letters with 7 different names. Each has 6 letters in it. 6 times 7, 42. The Kavan La'alos as Chitzonius HaChabad. Now the idea is this, that this is the Kavanah at this time. To bring up the Chitzonius of the Chabad Shel Olam HaSiyah, the Benemius HaMalchus the Yetzirah, onto the Benemius HaMalchus the Yetzirah. That's Benemius HaChagad the Asiyah, the Kavan La'alos, the Chitzonius HaMalchus the Yetzirah. So that's also, you're going to bring it on. You have 2 pieces on top of the Malchus of Yetzirah. Now let's look at it like this. On the first day of the week, Tekavin Sha'az Gover Shem Shal Abag Yatatz Al Kulam. So he says that this is going to be the most important of the 7 different parts of the Ana Bakoach. B'chagam sheb'kol yom omrim as tefillas Ana Bakoach. We'll say the whole thing. And we're thinking that these names are actually bringing everything up. That's what they're doing. But in any case, on the first day of every week, the Kavan Sheba'osach Yom Gover Hashem Abag Yatatz. Hayotz Mitevos Ana Bakoach. This from the Rosh Tevos Ana Gatola Gadol Yemidacha Tantzei Ruah. So he wants to use this as actually controlling name. It governs over all of the rest of the names on that first day. And in that first name, everything else is included. He said, we're going to include in there all of the rest of the names of the Manak Bakoach, all of their power, I guess, the energy that's there. V'yom sheni dechlalim kula b'name karasatan. V'chein b'yom sheni hagam she'omrim bo as kala tefillah. Now we're saying the whole Ana Bakoach, shal Ana Bakoach, the kavan shekala shemus kolula b'shem sheni, that all of them really are incorporated in the second name, shehu karasatan. V'yotze meroshe tevas apasuk, Hashem Shuhu Kabel Rinas Amchatzag Benutavrenu Nora. So he said, B'Shem Hazech Nichlalam Oz Shar Hashem Shal Ana Bakoach. So he says, in this name is included all of the rest. So the same thing goes on all the rest of the days. And so therefore, on this way, you should have this Kavanah. B'Shar Yemei HaShavua, all the rest of the days of the week. B'oven shebiyom shlishi, so that on the third day, the kavan she'az goyver anem neged yakash, hayotzim meroshe tevos apasuk na gibor dorshe yehudu gvav shabreim, abon nechlalim kar shar hashemos, v'yom revi, the kavan she'az goyver Hashem bater na'atzachak, hayotzim apasuk Baruchem Tacharem Rachamem Satzid Koschel Tamim Gamleim Ubon Nechlalim Kol Shar Hashemas, and in that, then you have all the rest of the names are included in it. If you Yom HaChamisha, now you get to the fifth name. So the fifth day of the week, the Kaven She'az Gover Hashem Hakav Tana. He said, B'yotzi b'pasel chasin kadosh barov tuvcha nahed l'sechol. Ubon nechlalim kol shar Hashemos, and in that, all the rest of them are included. The B'yom HaShishi, the Kaven She'az Gover Hashem Yaakov Pazak. Hayotzi b'pasel Yochi Geya, Lamcha Panei, Zoche Kedusha Sechol. Uvok nechlalim kol shar Hashemos. That's interesting that this is the leading name in every week, but all the rest of them are in there as well. I guess, one is missing from the order of the original, so this would changes the order of the names a little bit. So we said this, which comes from this way, B'yom HaShabbos, the Kaven Sha'az, Goyver Hashem Shakot Zayit. He says, Hayotz Mepasuk, Shavasenu Kabet Ushma Sakosenu Yodea Sa'alumos. Ubon Nechlalim Kulam. And once again, this incorporates all the rest of them, but it's the dominant name on that day. V'shem Shakot Sayat Nechlalim Kol Shach Hashemus Hayotz Mitfilas Ana Bakoach. So now we see how that's going there. And his boyer it's leno, so it's already been explained by us. Be'inyan Shem Ben Mab, what's going on with this 42-letter name? Be'inyan Tefilas Ana Bakoach Sheyesh Bo Shem Mab Osius. It has, in fact, 42 letters. Now, these same 42 letters, we say at the time, when we go to lay down, excuse me. We said that we're supposed to say this before we go to sleep. Now this is a phrase that we see in the Rishash. With two, he covers his face. Kaniskar sham sarafim omdim ima'alno. So let's say you're at time going to bed. Is that what he's talking about? That sarafim, the fiery angels, are standing on his head. Sheyesh kanfayim shesh kanfayim la'echa. That each one of them, excuse me, I read it slightly. Shesh kanfayim la'echa. Each one of them is, it sounds like it's 12 wings. B'shtayim yachased pana, but I think he means each one of them has 6. B'shtayim yachased, with 2 of the wings he covers his face. B'shtayim yachased raglav, and 2 of them he covers his feet. B'shtayim ya'ofef, and the other 2, he flies away. V'chein anta. Now I'd like to get more of an explanation on that. And maybe there's something we look at down below. I didn't really look down below. So therefore, now, when we're saying Ana Bakoach, the Kavan Kavana Haki, so we should also have this Kavana then in the morning. I guess he's talking about the Kavan the Kavana and this Kerabit Drushot Halayla Shal Hapasuk B'shtayim Yachatz Panav, etc. So we have that idea there. So he says again, there are 6 different letters, six different, I guess. So we're going to have to hold here, right here. It's a little bit more difficult. Rebbe's take a little bit of break. Here he comes back again. Okay, speaker. There we go. So going back to Shinai and Gimel, it says Tikana Kavana Haki. This Kavana, we have this Kavana. The Kavana and this Kerabit Drushot Laila, which is what we mentioned at the Drushot Laila. Shall pass b'shtayim yachas panav, etc. La'alos hapanimius b'shtei osius rishona shel Hashem hagoyver ki yom kaniska. So he says what? He says when you're saying this, you're going to elevate the panimius of the first 2 letters. So, like for example, Aleph Beis is Abba Yatatz. He says osius rishona shel Hashem hagoyver ki yom kaniska. So that would be the first day. And then you have this more deep kavana as you take the second set of letters, which are the middle letters, the kavan the chasos ragle olam. Now, what this means, I'm not sure. Ragle olam would be malchus, but I'm not sure what this means. He says the kavan the chasos ragle olam. You have the kavana to cover over the feet of the world. V'shnei osios achronos to kaven shebechem ma'ofafim ma'olim, that you actually start to fly and you're going up.
You didn't read that right.
Well, let me read it again. Which part?
Not ha'olim, it's ha'olim.
Oh, ha'olim. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so let me go back. He says, L'chasos ragle ha'olim. Now, we're not defining here what is going up, but we are talking about, in fact, in the Ana Bakoach, we're talking about lifting up the Penimius, I guess he's talking about the Penimius of Chagad and the Kitzonius of Chabad onto the Malchus of Yitzira. V'shnei osios achronos, the kaven shebechem ofifim be'olim, that you actually fly and go up. Kan sarach hezber. So here now we only have to. There's something we have to explain. Vein lo ke'es svarim. Now we don't have the books la'ayin va'od chazon. So maybe we'll see it coming up. So in other words, he didn't explain what it actually means to cover the feet with the first two letters and cover the body with the second two, Yachasev Panav, cover his face with the second two letters, and then fly upwards on the third letter. It doesn't well explain what that means, but that is a kavanah, he says, that we should have when we're saying the Ana Bakoach. First two letters would go to the first two letters of the name of that day. Then he says, Omeris, I guess, Omeris, the Philis Ana Bakoach. So now that you've said it, Amarta, that you said it, Tomer Baruch Hashem Kavod Malchus Olam Boed Belachash. Then you say this. Now why? Az Tomer Belachash as a pasuk Baruch Hashem Kavod Malchus Olam Boed. So he says the dam. So he's the gam dekavin ki hamadregos anichlalan b'malchus the Yitzira. Now let's start thinking about this. What madregos are incorporated in the malchus the Yitzira? Gam dekavin ki hasfiras the olam asiyah, which we said was the Penimius of the Chagad de Yitzira and the Kitzonius of the Chabad of Yitzira, and the Chlala b'malchus de Yitzira, then part of it, Heim Sheish Madregos, there are actually 6 different Madregos here. Heim Sheish Madregos be'oven Shavav Sephiros Ma'olam Hasiyah, that what you're having here is the Vav Sephiros of the Olam Hasiyah, the Chlala b'malchus the Olam Yitzira are incorporated. So what are the 3? It's the Hagat, it's the Penimius of the Hagat. That's what he means. So let's see, we'll find. He's going to say, Shehem Chitzoni Shlosh Rishonos the Chasiyah b'Penimius Malchus the Yitzira. So this is taking the Chabad, Ve'elo Ashesh Madregos Heim Chitzonis HaChabad the Olam Hasiyah. You're taking that. Hamalvishim Al Penimius Shal Malchus the Olam Yitzira. That's now covering over the Penimius of the Malchus of Yitzira. Penimius Shlosh Em Se'im, the Asiyah, which is the Hagat, Bechitzonis of Malchus the Yitzira, that's Penimius. HaChagat the Olam Asiyah, Malvishim Al Chitzonius, the Malchus the Olam Yitzira. Now you got, this is your kavanah. So we know like this, Shehamalchus the Yitzira, he sewed Shem Achron, Shebeshem Mab Shaku Tzayit. So let's talk about this. He says that, so let's read it. I'll just translate it and then read it again. But notice, Malchus the Yitzira, let's talk about the Malchus the Yitzira now has these 2 coverings. It's the secret of the last name of the Mab, which is Shakut Tzayit, which refers to Shabbos, and we said before that this is the Malchus. Malchus goes along with the 7th day. Malchus the Olam Yitzira, he meremezeh b'shem Shakut Tzayit. Hayotze miroshe tevos apasah shavasenu kabelu shman sokasenu yodel dolumos. So here we said knows secrets or secret things. Hu shema akron mahashev shema shalmab. That's what it is. V'yesh bo sheish osios, and it has within it 6 letters. How are we doing time-wise? Okay, it's 6 letters. V'shem shakotzit yesh. I'm going to pronounce it shako tzayit. He said, Bo Sheish Osius, there are 6 letters. But the Kabin ki al yedei shisha shemas the abag yatats, kara satan, neged yakash, batar tzachag, hakav tana, and yagal pazik, those 6. Ana ma'alim, we're now bringing up ma'alim as Sheish and Madregos, Malam Sheish Medregos and Iskaros Shal Asiya. We're bringing up the six different spheros. He calls them levels of Asiya. But the Kavinchi Al Yedecha Vashisha Shemus Yotzim in Tefillas Ana Bakoach, and now he's going to just run through this for us. He says the first one is Ana Bakoach Gedulas Yamidah Tatzis Zerua V'Hu Shem Rishon Abba Yatats. Now this is just a review, really. He already said it before. I guess I'll read it. It comes from the name Karasata. Nagi Bor Dorsha Yehudu Kuvav Shemreim, that comes from the name Nagad Yakash. Now let's skip down to the bottom. Let's see, we have another interruption. Hashem should help me to be able to say this year and understand it. It's always a lot of moving parts. Okay, back again. So we're skipping down to the bottom where it says, now you have these six names. Ana Ma'alam as a Sheish Sphira Shal Olam Asiyah, the six spheros that we're talking about, the Benemius of the Haggad and the Kitzonius of the Chabad. We're bringing them up now. Shehem Kitzonius, oh, he says it. Chabad Asiyah, Benemius Haggad Asiyah, the Benemius Kitzonius, and to the Benemius and the Kitzonius of the Malchus, the Yitzira, the Mavar, as he's going to explain. Now, previously, he didn't say the Kitzonius of the Malchus of Yitzira. He said the Penemius of the Malchus of Yitzira. Let's see what he says. So maybe it's just oversight on my part. Al Hashesh Osis Shabashem Shkotzis. Now those six letters of the name, let's take this name for example. Shesh Hasphiros, the Chasir Hanal, Ana Ma'alam, Al Shesh Osios Shabashem Shkotzis. That Reim Shakul Tzayit, let's say we call it that. Hayotzim Eroshe Tevos Apostle Shavatzenu Kabel Shmakal Tzayim. Now when he says, so he says there's six spheres of Asiya. So he says Shuhu HaMalchus the Yitzira, and he says that this name we said previously is also known as the Malchus of Yitzira. He says Shazeh Hashem Shkotes Hu B'Spheres HaMalchus the Olam Yitzira. Now what? It's making me wonder what is in the Malchus of Asiya. But he says this is the Malchus of Yitzira. It's the bottom letter, it's the bottom phrase of the Ana Bakoach. So if you want to lift up the Kitzonius of the Chabad, the Penemius of Haggad, and the Penemius of the Haggad, the Olam Asiya, the Malchus the Yitzira, Tzarek Lechaben, you have to have this Kavanah. V'L'Shalav, and join together Shem Abgi, that name, Ba'os Shin, with the letter Shin of Shkotzis. Now, let me see if I can understand this. Again, I don't understand it so good. He says, Sarach L'Kaven L'Shalav to combine this name, which is the first name which has to do with Chesed, with the first letter of the name Shkotzis. Because Shkotzis represents, we're going to combine this, therefore, with, this is breaking down the Kavanah even more, going letter by letter through the six letters. So he says, and he says it goes like this: Ba'oshin shel shkotzis. So in other words, that's how you put the first part, which is the abag yatatz, onto the shkotzis. You go letter by letter. Az be'es amiris apasaka rishon shuhu shem abag shuhu b'chesed the Yitzira, which really refers to the chesed of Yitzira. Really. Yesh lekaben la'alos as kitzonis ha'chochma d'asiyah. So then you have to have the idea. Now you're bringing up the chochma d'asiyah. The kavayamin to the right line. The penemius ha'malchus shehi shem shel sham, that is there shem shel shekotzis. So you're going to bring up now. He said la'alos as kitzonis ha'chochma d'asiyah. We're bringing it up just the chochma d'asiyah, but we're bringing up the chabad. The fichach yesh l'shalev as shem abgi im shem shkotzis. So little by little, we're putting the name abgi together with the shkotzis. The shem karasotin, when you go to the next name, ba'os kuf shel shkotzis, then you compare that. You look, it's surprise, it goes right in there. V'chein kashomrim as a pasuk hasheni shuhu kara shuhu begavura the yitzira. Yesh lekaven la'alos as kitzonis achaba desia. You're going to bring up the the kav small to the left line into Yetzira, Shepipinemius Malchus the Yetzira of the Pinemius of where you're only taking it to the Malchus of Yetzira, Shehu Os Kuf B'Shem Shakotzi, which comes out to the next letter in the name Shakotzai. V'lefichov yesh l'shalav as Shem Karasatan, so therefore that name Im Os Kuf Shal Shkotzis. Now let's go to the next one. So became b'shar shisha shemesh b'shem osir shkotzitz. Each one of them is going to go along with one of the parts of what we've been of the Chagat Nai. Now let's see. The Chagat, the Pnimius the Chagat, and the I guess he's talking about just the Chitzonius of the Chabad. But let me see if I can understand. A lot of moving parts for me. As a pasuk shlishi. So when you say the third pasuk, Shehu Shem Nagad Yakash. So he says Shehu B'Tiferes the Yitzira, which is now it's like Yitzira is pulling them up, each one of them. Got another break here. Let me see. We still have a little bit of time to get through this. I think you're coming back. Another break. So what happens is the phone there is on some kind of a timer. So. Okay, back again. V'kein k'she'omrim as a pasuk shlishi. When you say the third pasuk, shehu shem nagad yakash, shehu b'tiferes the Yitzira. So now that name is going to pull up onto the Tiferes of Yitzira, but we're talking about it's also in the Malchus of Yitzira. Yesh l'kaven la'alos as kitzoni sadas the olam Yitzira. So now you're talking about this. You're going to bring out the Chabad part. This is the Daled of the Chabad. This is the Das of Olam Asiyah, and where it's going to go, the Kav Emsoy Shel Penimius the Malchus Shehi Ozvav Shel Shkotzes. So now it's going to bring up to that. V'chein Yesh l'Shalev as Os Havov Im Hashem Shel Neged Yakash. So you're also going to join that Vav into that name too. V'chein K'she'omrim Pasuk HaRevi, when you say the fourth Pasuk, Shehu Shem Bater Tzachag, Shehu b'netzach the Yitzira, which is really referring to the netzach, the pull power, I guess, of the netzach, the Yitzira. Obo ma'alem as penimius a chesed asiyah, and this you're bringing up the penimius of the chesed of Asiyah. Now you're working on the chagat of Asiyah. The kava yamim shal chitzonis amalchus, to the right line of the chitzonis amalchus, shehi osadi shel shem shekotzis, which is represented by the tzadi. So what we're doing is we're tying little by little each one of the chagat of Asiyah and the Chabad of Asiyah onto the corresponding aspect in Yetzira. V'lechein yesh l'shalav v'lechaber od sadi im Hashem ba'ater tzachag tzatzag. He says v'chein pasuk ha'chamisha shuch kakov tana. He says shuhu behod Yetzira. Yesh l'kaven la'alos as penimius ha'gavura d'Asiyah. So the idea now we're bringing up this is the rest of the Chagat now of Asiyah. L'kava small shel chitzonius ha'malchus that goes to the outside of the malchus. Shuhu os yud shel shkotzis, which is the letter yud that comes from the letter shkotzis. It corresponds to that, which would be the malchus, which is representing the malchus of Yetzira. V'lechein yesh l'shalev v'lechaver os yud shel shem hakav tana. He says, "V'chein b'shem ashishi shuhu yagol pasuk." So you're putting all of those together. V'hu b'yisod the Yisir, and now it's going to the Yisod of Yisir. So now you're really attaching them all into the Yisod, to the 6 spheros of Yitzira, by going and attaching them onto the Malchus of Ma'alim as Penimius at Tiferes, the Olam Asiyah. So now you're bringing up the Penimius of the Olam Asiyah, the Kavim Soy Shachitzonis, the Malchus, to the middle line of the Malchus. Shuhu Os Tov. So this is the Os Tov. As shall Shakot Tzayit as Yesh Lachaber V'Lashalev Os Tov Im Shem Yagel Pazak. So then you're going to bring it all together like that, and that's it for today.